recap from show 1, in oratory, a speaker chooses a topic or problem they think should be addressed and then writes a persuasive speech based on their own research. Please welcome Lexi Schnaser performing her original speech, America's Bread and Circuses.
I don't know about you, but I wish I lived in ancient Rome. Not for the togas, although I would take a nice pair of sandals over these heels any day. No, I'd like to live in ancient Rome for the over 150 holidays. That's right, nearly every other day was a holiday in Rome. And these holidays had it all. Endless chariot races, huge feasts, pregnant cows sacrifices. I mean, you name it, Rome had it. The thing is that these holidays were created by Roman emperors and in efforts later coined bread and circuses, when emperors would offer cheap food and entertainment to divert attention from the ugly truth of lost battles and poor economic conditions. And it worked. The people of ancient Rome gladly took in the splendor of bread and circuses, while the unfortunate truth of their lives was effectively sidelined. But we don't sideline the truth here in America, do we? Well, in 2015, the Smithsonian published a study from Texas Tech University that asked students on campus the question, who won the Civil War? Students' answers ranged from the South to, psh, I have no idea. This shows that just as those ancient Romans, our willingness to distract ourselves from the ugliness of our true history has caused us to view it through an arrogant, ignorant, and heuristic lens. And when we divert our attention from the truth of our history, we fail to heed the warning of the great H.G. Wells when he said historical ignorance is nothing but a race toward catastrophe. So today, we will acknowledge our disregard for history, see how it has led to our ignorance of historical events, and introduce ourselves to a few ways we can embrace historical truth. Historian David McCullough writes, we cannot truly know who we are or where we are going unless we know where we have been. And I have struggled to know just exactly where I have been. My last name is Schnaser, so when I Google my name, the most frequent result that pops up is a bunch of miniature Schnauzers. And as cute as those puppies may be, they aren't me. And in reality, the name Schnauzer isn't exactly me either. When my dad was 6 months old, he was adopted and took the last name of his adoptive parents. Don't get me wrong, I love my dad's side of the family, but I can't shake the feeling that I'm missing something. I'm missing my true family history, my family health history, family stories, and family traditions. These are all things that hold our attention, and without them, we're left to make uninformed decisions. But it's evident our attention these days is not on history, and it seems our schools have done little to emphasize it. Even in my own district, the lack of history education is alarming. While middle schoolers receive 4 terms of math, they get just 1 of history. And while STEM majors have steadily increased, Time magazine reports in December 2018 that the number of students majoring in history has dropped more steeply in the last 10 years than any other major. In fact, some universities, such as the University of Wisconsin-Stevens Point, decided in January to eliminate their history degree altogether. This decision sends a clear message. Once history isn't worth studying, history isn't worth knowing. But hey, who needs to be a huge history buff when we have Google? Google knows everything. I mean, Google just taught me that ancient Romans used to eat the same kinds of food we do, like chicken, seafood, and bunny rabbits. Google really can teach us all kinds of history. But too often, this history is either too simple or simply ignorant. For example, although we live in a day and age when politicians around the globe are endlessly being likened to Hitler, we don't really know much about him. A 2018 NPR survey found over half of Americans believe Hitler came to power by force. He didn't. Adolf Hitler emerged as the Chancellor of Germany through legal means in a democratic society not unlike ours. When we are ignorant of the context of history that allowed for Hitler's rise, we allow ourselves to arrogantly think that America is immune to such a process. And this historical ignorance seems to have made its way into the White House. Of course, America isn't in the same place Nazi Germany was, but it's important to consider the historical implications of both the past and the present. Even as recently as this fall, President Trump has expressed his distaste for NATO, the world's largest and strongest democratic military alliance. Instead of leading the organization, he has treated it with arrogance and disrespect. He has treated it with arrogance and contempt. This disrespects NATO's original goal of global cooperation, created by America's greatest generation. But the White House isn't the only one who seems to be ignorant of the events of our times. Astonishingly, too many students do not know that slavery played a central role in the Civil War. A recent report from the Teaching Tolerance Project found only 8% of U.S. high school seniors could identify slavery as a central cause of the war. Historian John Meacham, in his 2018 book, The Soul of America, writes why this is. The Lost Cause. The Lost Cause was created by the South after the war to justify their cause as a heroic one. The hubris of the Lost Cause has created an ignorant interpretation of the Civil War, one that too many still believe. Confederate monuments stand as emblems of the Lost Cause. Many believe that tearing down the infamous monuments is the best solution to reject the half-truth history they represent. Others demand they remain standing. Others, including white nationalist and Lost Cause believer James Fields, who in 2017, in Charlottesville, Virginia, plowed his car into a crowd of people, killing counter-protester Heather Hay. Fields' action shows an ignorant interpretation of history like the Lost Cause can have catastrophic consequences. As University of Richmond history professor Julian Hayter wrote after the tragedy, Charlottesville wasn't just about monuments. Charlottesville was about memory and the conflict between truth and belief. So how can we better embrace the truth of our history to avoid ignorance and the danger of hubris? Literacy. We need a massive historical literacy movement. Let's turn to history for an example. When the Soviet Union launched Sputnik into orbit in 1957, the U.S. was motivated to educate a new generation of students in biology, math, and physics to keep up with the Soviets. Just as we acknowledged our deficit in science then, it's time to recognize our deficit in history today. Only this November, the Texas Board of Education voted to change their history standards to state that slavery played a central role in the Civil War. This change is a simple but necessary recontextualization that helps students accurately understand the war. Julian Hayter further identifies recontextualization as the addition of information to historical events to help people see old events in new light. As Hayter suggests, let's leave the Confederate monuments up and turn them into teaching tools with placards that tell us the truth about when and why the monuments were built. From there, we can ignite a historical literacy movement within ourselves. We can start simple, by taking detours on family road trips to visit historical sites, talking about our favorite historical figures and events, and asking others about theirs. Or getting hooked on a history podcast, like The History Chicks, a popular podcast that focuses on incredible moments in women's history. No matter how you go about it, we can all agree. It's time to hold ourselves responsible for understanding the true context of our history. Today, we have acknowledged our disregard for history, seen how it has led to our ignorance of historical events, and introduced ourselves to a few ways we can embrace historical truth. While I wouldn't mind watching a chariot race every now and then, we must not let our arrogance blind us from the ugly, but true, parts of our past.
Our next two speakers are in the category of duo. Again, you'll notice that they follow particular rules such as not making eye contact or touching one another. Performing the Pillow Man, here are juniors Isaiah Schroeder and Jack Pedersen.
Once upon a time, a long, long way away, and there was a little green pig. Hiya!
How you doing, Michael?
Oh, great. Just a bit bored. You were making some racket.
Yeah. Michael, I need you to do something for me.
Do what, Katerina?
Swear to me on your life that you didn't kill those 3 kids.
I swear to you on my life, I didn't kill those 3 kids.
Good. Well, then maybe we can still get out of this.
Get out of what, Katerina?
Get out of being executed for killing 3 kids, Michael. We'll be okay, Michael. If we just stick together. Words can be a powerful thing.
As author Robin Sharma puts it, words can inspire and words can destroy.
Throughout human history, individuals have used their words to spark revolution, build civilization, and influence their people.
Unfortunately, people have also used their words to commit unspeakable atrocities.
Ultimately, no matter how we use them, the words we choose often carry more impact than our original intent.
Award-winning author Martin McDonough introduces us to Kateri, an author of horrific fiction who sits in a cell awaiting his execution along with his brother, Michael.
As he contemplates the power of his words, he also comes to terms with the impact they had on the ones he loved most. The Pillow Man, by Martin McDonough.
Tell us a story, Kateri.
What story do you?
The Pillow Man.
The Pillow Man. All right, let me think of how it starts.
Once upon a time.
I know, but I'm trying to think of how it actually starts.
Once upon a time.
All right. Jesus. Once upon a time, there was a man. He was about 9 feet tall and made up of these pink, fluffy, round pillows.
Circular pillows.
They're the same thing.
Well, but I prefer circular ones.
Fine. His head was a circular pillow. And on his head he had 2 button eyes and a big smiley mouth.
Do your mouth smiley like the Pillow Man's is.
Well, the Pillow Man had to look soft and safe because his job was a very sad one.
Ah, here it comes.
Whenever a young boy or girl was very sad because they had lived a dreadful life and just wanted to end it all, the Pillow Man would go up to them and he'd say, "Hold on a minute." And he'd go back in time to when the person was little, to when the dreadful life had not yet begun. And his job was a very sad one, because it was to get that child to kill themselves, and to avoid the years of pain that would just end up in the same place for them anyway.
Could you skip to the end, please? It's a bit boring.
Well, that's rude, Michael.
Oh, sorry, Katerina, but could you skip to the end, please?
Well, because of all the people the Pillow Man had helped, he would just go around crying all day. So he decided to do one final job and that'd be it. So he went to this place beside the stream he remembered from a time before.
Like this bit.
And he heard a little boy's voice saying, "I'm just going outside to play, Mom." And the footsteps got closer. And it was a little pillow boy. And they talked for a while. And the pillow man explained to the little pillow boy his sad job. The little pillow boy understood instantly. And so, he poured a can of petrol all over himself, struck a match, and he faded away.
I like the pillow man. He's my favourite.
It's a bit downbeat, I'd admit.
But I still can't figure it out.
Figure out the pillow man?
No. I thought I'd hidden it quite well.
Hidden what quite well?
The box with the toes in it. I thought I'd hidden it well.
But you told me. You swore to me on your life that you didn't kill those 3 kids.
Oh yeah, see, with that one I was playing a little trick on you. Sorry, Katerian.
What'd you do it for?
You know, because you told me to.
Because I what?
Because you told me to.
No, I remember telling you to do your homework on time and to brush your teeth every night. But I don't remember telling you to take a bunch of kids and go butcher them.
I didn't butcher them. I wouldn't have done anything if you hadn't told me. If you had written the story. I was just seeing how far-fetched they were.
Well, how come you never acted out any of the nice ones?
You never wrote any nice ones.
No, it's because you're a sadistic little pervert who enjoys killing little kids. And even if every story I ever wrote was the sweetest thing imaginable, the outcome would still be the same. You know, they're gonna destroy everything. Us. And my stories. Everything.
They're just paper.
They're just what?
They're just paper.
They're just what?
You just banged my head.
I noticed that.
You just banged my head.
I said I noticed that!
You're just like Mom and Dad.
Say that again.
You're just like Mom and Dad, hitting me and shouting at me.
You know, I see where you're coming from, Michael. I see your logic.
You should.
But I'll tell you this much. If Mom and Dad are looking down on us right now, I bet they'd be proud to see how you turned out. Exactly the kind of boy that they could be proud of.
Don't say that.
You know, you're actually a carbon copy of him, aren't you? But maybe you should grow a little goatee beard here. Or maybe get glasses like her.
Don't say that.
Or maybe you should wear lots of diamonds like her and talk like this, my son.
Don't say that or I'll kill you!
You're not gonna kill me, Michael. I ain't 7. Why'd you have to do it, Michael?
You're a good rider, Katerian. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. I'm getting tired, Katerian. Katerian,
What?
tell me a story.
What?
Tell me a story. Katerian, tell me the one about the little green pig.
I don't remember how it goes.
You remember? The first word goes once, the second word a poem, the third word goes ah, and the fourth... Oh, sugar, what's the fourth word?
You're a little smart ass, aren't you? Once upon Tom, there was a pig who was different from all the other pigs because he was green. Now, the little pig liked being green, but the others didn't, and they made his life a misery.
Misery.
So one night, the other pigs snatched up the little green pig and they brought him to the barn.
Bastards.
And they opened up this pink paint and covered him from head to foot in it. Now, what was special about this pink paint was that it could never be painted over or washed off. The paint dried, and the pig cried, and even all the thousands of tears he cried couldn't wash off that horrible pink paint, because
It can never be painted over or washed off.
well, later that night, it began to rain this special green rain that could never be painted over or washed off. And when all the pigs awoke, the formerly green pig looked about this sea of newly green pigs, and he was happy, because he knew that he was and would always be just a little bit peculiar. You like that one, don't you, Michael? Well, maybe you should have acted that one out. Sweet dreams, little baby. I'll be coming for you soon.
After that very emotional performance, we're going to move on to something a little more lighthearted. Please welcome Dunn performing The Soft Touch by Neil Crawford.
Blinking! Who is it? It's your landlord. Do you remember what tomorrow is? Garbage day? That's right. And do you know what I expect to see tomorrow at the curb at 7 a.m.? Garbage? That's right. And do you know what I'll see tomorrow at the curb if I don't see garbage? Me? That's right. Now remember the rules of the apartment. No noise, no smells, no unnecessary coughing, no hot water, and no visitors. Visitors! Now go to sleep! Yes, landlord. Beatrice! Beatrice! Oh! Knockity knockity, it's Mr. Crisp from downstairs. Can I come in? Oh my god. Sure, why not? Hey, sir. Has my wife been here? No. Is something wrong? Oh no, but it's a good thing you didn't let her in, because if you did, I would be very disappointed in you. So, does your wife do this often? Oh no, only when the full moon is out. We were all told when we were younger to stay away from strangers. But I'm sorry, when I see the mysterious white van in the dark alley and there's a man in a trench coat offering me a Twix, you gotta go for it, right? You see, it's this day and age where our neighbors start to become more like strangers to us. And that can get us into some pretty sticky situations, as Blinker will find out in The Soft Touch by Neil Crawford. So, you haven't seen my wife? No, but if she stops by, I'll let you know. Great! And if I hear any yelling or furniture being thrown around, I'll be sure to come right out. Yeah. You do that. there. It's Mrs. Crisp from downstairs. Can I come in? Sorry, I'm trying to go to sleep. Your husband's looking for you. Why, he's always looking for me. You seem quite upset. Oh, he's always upset. Now, why don't you just, open up? Your door seems to be stuck. Yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep now. Good night! It still seems to be stuck. You're not gonna leave, are you? Fine! Just come in! But what if your husband finds us here? Oh, don't worry. He never finds me. So you're getting ready for bed, huh? What do you bathe with? Soap and water? Washcloth? Or sponge? Hands. Ooh. Are these new pajamas? I've had them for years. The waistband still works great, it works great! I'm sorry, Mrs. Crisp, but I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. I have to go to work tomorrow morning. Is this your bed? Mind if I just, lie down? As a matter of fact, I do! What's going on in there? It's my landlord. Quick, under the sheets. I love this game. Hey! What's with all the noise from this apartment? I don't hear anything. You know the rules. No noise, no smells, no unnecessary coughing. No hot water, and no visitors. Visitors. If I find anyone in this apartment, I'll kick you to the streets. Got it? Perfect. I'm clean. Good. You changed this place since the last time I saw it. Is this a new bedspread? Yeah, I had a decorator come in. Decorator? No decorators either! I don't want no latte dogs coming onto my apartment building, smelling it up, bringing their friends, hogging the bathrooms. You put your bedspread on tomorrow. Got it? Perfect. Goodbye. You can come out from under there, Mrs. Crisp. And you can tell me why the heck you're in my apartment? Well, you see, just every day, Harry goes to work to make the springs for Ballpoint Pens of America. I just stay home, and I clean, and I vacuum, and I just sit on the couch and I watch the news for important news bulletins. But one day a month, I let the full moon embrace the primal Beatrice. I laugh, I strip, I run, and I just pounce on men. Now what's wrong with that? Nothing. As long as you do it in your apartment. But you're in mine, and I could get in trouble. I mean, if your husband ever found out, or my landlord. You seem a bit stressed. Why don't we just, check this waistband again? Beatrice! Oh, Beatrice! Oh. Knockity, knockity, it's Mr. Crisp from downstairs. Blinky, can I come in? It's your husband! Let go! Back under the sheets, got it? We're gonna play again. Hey, sir! Have you seen my wife? No! No. No. That's odd. I thought I heard something. Yeah! That's just my uncle. From St. Louis. Uncle Louis. I love St. Louis. Hey, Uncle Louis, what's the weather like down there? Oh, he doesn't like to talk about that. You see, last week his whole family was wiped out by a tornado. Yeah. But why is he under the sheets? He thinks that's the safest place to be in case of a tornado. Oh, nuts, huh? A fruitcake. Mind if I just take a look? Oh, that's not a good idea. He's rabid. Oh, come on. No, really. He got me last week. You want to see the wound? No, I'm good, pal. You know, I should just be going, see ya. See ya. Now it's your turn, Mrs. Crisp. Please get out of my apartment and my life. And if you don't, I'm gonna scream. Oh, I just love it when they scream. Goodbye. What's with all the noise? Roaches. Millions of them. I had to chase them all out. I don't see anything. I must have gotten them all. They must have just been passing through. Yeah, sure. Perhaps a tribe of nomadic roaches. Very well. Now go to sleep. And don't forget the rules of the apartment. No noise, no smells, no unnecessary popping. No hot water, no visitors, and no decorators. And don't forget what tomorrow is. Yeah, I know. It's garbage day.
The next category is one of my favorites, although I may be a bit biased. Informative is unique in that it's the only category that allows for visual aids. Speakers need to pick a topic to research that they think you should know more about, which is exactly what senior Jenna Zeug has done. Please welcome Jenna as she performs her original speech, Zoo Farmo What?
You're a dog. Oh, no, just pretend. You're a dog. Out exploring the world, sniffing, eating, marking, barking. Suddenly, that grass you were nibbling on starts to take effect and cause you to, well, you know. The fact is, dogs purposefully induce vomiting in order to relieve stomach pains or nausea, similar to a human stimulating their own gag reflex. You, the dog, along with many animals, are equipped with basic self-healing instincts. But what you might not realize is that these behaviors might also benefit human health. There's even a term for this medicinal behavior in animals: zoopharmacognosy. Zoopharma what? Stay with me here. All around the world, animals have been observed using different substances and techniques in order to treat common ailments. Chimps, dolphins, sheep, even our own pets, all connected by one survival trait. They self-medicate. So today, we will first ingest exactly what zoopharmacognosy is, then chew on the different ways animals self-medicate. Finally, we'll cough up some of the implications of zoopharmacognosy in the area of medicine, expel possible important medical insights for one of the world's most famous animals, humans. So, let's begin to take in the concept of zoopharmacognosy and break down exactly what it means. The term zoopharmacognosy is derived from the Greek roots zoo, meaning animal, pharma, meaning drug or medicine, and cognosy, meaning cognizant, or animals knowing medicine, the term first being coined by Richard Raynaud, the professor of biological anthropology at Harvard University. One of the first examples of this phenomenon had appeared in 1987. Primatologist Michael Huffman was studying the behaviors of older chimpanzees in Tanzania when he noticed that one of the chimps, a mother named Chasiku, was very sick and barely moving. After a while, Chasiku gathered up the strength to climb down from her nest and began eating a plant known to be extremely poisonous in large quantities. Don't worry though, Chasiku didn't have a death wish. She only ate a very small amount of the plant, and the next day, Chasiku was back to her normal self, healthy as ever. Huffman had just witnessed one of the first documented examples of an animal healing itself without any aid from a human doctor. He continued his research and found that animals can learn this behavior in two ways, nature and nurture. He explains that natural selection helps to determine which traits animals inherit. Animals who learn that certain plants will cure them will live on, while animals who don't learn will often die from their illnesses. The one who lives goes on to breed, and their young are nurtured with their parents' knowledge, and are more likely to flock to the same resources when they become sick. Now that we've defined what zoopharmacognosy is, let's take a look at how animals use this knowledge. Just like in humans, animals will use self-medicating techniques in both a preventative and curative manner. Similar to the way that my mom takes vitamin C supplements every single morning, convinced it's the surefire way not to get sick. And then when she does get sick, vigorously applies Vicks VapoRub, leaving her odoriferous scent everywhere. While these might seem to be traits only found in people, some animals have found deterrents to their own common infections. Bottlenose dolphins in the Red Sea have been observed rubbing against Gregorian corals, not because they're sparkly and pretty, but because it covers them with a layer of antimicrobial mucus that helps protect them from viral contagions. Jumping out of the sea and into the city, sparrows and finches in urban areas have woven cigarette butts into their nests. The nicotine in the butts helps to prevent mites and ticks from getting into their nests and infecting their young. Clever as some of these tricks may be, you can't always avoid catching something. Once an animal is already dealing with an illness, it's time to turn to nature's pharmacy for a cure. Juan Villa, a scientist at Utah State University, examined sheep as they eat a plant they typically avoid because of its awful taste. However, when Villalba deliberately infected the sheep with parasite larvae, they learned that the plant had anti-parasitic properties and ate it willingly. Crossing overseas to Madagascar, lemurs have been observed taking part in a bizarre ritual. Picking a millipede off of the ground, these red-fronted lemurs will bite them until they begin to ooze their orange guts and rub it on their genitals. Scientists later observed that doing this helps to treat gastrointestinal diseases, as well as relieve any discomfort in these primates' privates. How interesting! After observing some of the unique ways animals self-medicate, let's explore some of the implications of zoopharmacognosy in the area of medicine. We'll start by looking back at how it was once used. J. Stewart on February 7th, 2018 says, "It's not a giant leap to imagine our earliest ancestors may have gained the roots of medical knowledge by observing animals. By doing this, they were able to derive definitive cause and effect that allowed them to survive. However, as people became more intelligent, we strayed away from observing animals and instead started experimenting on them, going from nature to the laboratory." Change was happening fast in the 20th century, and animal research was part of that revolution. The Animal Research website on September 2018 notes many remarkable discoveries would not have been possible without vital experiments on animals. Among these, blood transfusions in 1910, insulin in 1970, and MRI scans in 1980. All good things that led to lives being saved. But it wasn't perfect. PETA International, dated December 2018, notes 90% of drugs fail in human trial, despite promising results in animal tests, whether on safety grounds or because they just don't work. So, perhaps the next step forward is to take a step back. A pioneer in the field of animal self-medication is Carolyn Ingram. As the founder of Applied Zoopharmacognosy, her mission is to recreate an animal's natural environment through the use of aromatics and plants. She believes this can lead to the stimulation of natural behavior. While her practices are drawing the attention of many, it's not without its fair share of critics. Brennan McKenzie, the president of the Veterinary Medicine Association, wrote a scathing article against the idea, calling it natural nonsense. In it, he explains that Ingram has no formal education in veterinary medicine and that most of her claims are based off uncontrolled observations with lots of assumptions and bias built in. Regardless of the criticism, Ingram's research has helped to find new medications in nature. While we're living in the 21st century, things are changing at rapid rates. I mean, e-critiques, in speech. We don't know what the future holds. Yet one thing remains certain. As long as there are people who care about animals, from our much-loved pets to those on the brink of extinction, we will continue to learn, innovate, and adapt to find the best solution to our 21st century problems, both for animals and people. So today, we took a bite out of the concept of zoopharmacognosy, chewed on some of the ways animals self-medicate, before finally revealing some of the implications the future could hold for this science phenomenon. While you, the dog, who just expelled that slobbery mound of half-eaten grass, is savoring the taste of relief, to humans, it may be so much more.
Thank you all again for coming out tonight. We do have one last speaker. Please welcome back Jack Pedersen as he performs his humorous interpretation of Polish Joke by David Ives.
Got my beer and my egg, wait, what? Got my egg and my beer, and now to put egg in a beer. Now to put egg in beer. Now to put egg in beer. Ha! Got it. First try.
Uncle Robin, how come you always crack an egg in your beer?
It's because I am Polish, Jesu. The tradition was passed on, like family curse, which brings me to a question, Jesu. Do you sometimes feel that you're a, patsy?
How do you know that, Uncle Robin?
Well, maybe you're doing something personal in the bathroom and a thick black cloud of gloom overwhelms you.
Well, That happened last Saturday night.
It's because you're Polish.
Because I'm Polish?
Yes, we call this condition Polish gun.
Well, what can I do about being Polish, Uncle Roman?
Well, get yourself some culture, like Shakespeare or Beethoven.
Is that how you pronounce that?
Yes, Beethoven. We change your name, though. Make sure it's something people can spell. And see, pick yourself a good nationality. Huh. Irish is always good. I love a good family gathering. Everyone's sitting around complaining about the world, the society, the neighbors down the street. You know, family gatherings are a lot like iPhone updates. Every year it's a slightly different yet slightly worse version of the same thing. And pretty soon Grandma's gonna start complaining about being hot and sweaty for no reason whatsoever. Jesus, renamed John Sadler, lives his life by the crazy ideals of his Uncle Roman and learns a little bit about himself along the way. The Polish Joke by David Ives.
John, Sadler.
John Sadler, that's me.
Well, welcome to the World Corporation. I'm Florida Benjamin Franklin Elton Yang, but I prefer Miss Yale.
Mrs. Yale.
Oh, Miss Yale, what a great, anyway. Resume is wildly impressive. Yale, a 4.01 grade point average. Special study in Shakespeare and, pronounce that?
Beethoven.
Wow. And what's your nationality?
I'm sorry, where were we?
What kind of name is that anyway? Sadler with one D?
Some people say it's an, Irish name.
Irish. Why does it somehow surprise me?
Whoa, Johnny boy, the pipes are calling.
Did you change your name, John?
What?
Higher. There's something like Slavic, maybe east of Germany, European, maybe west of Lithuania, European, perhaps Polish.
Are you Polish?
Am I Polish?
What's so funny?
Oh, the question. Am I Polish? No. But seriously, are you Polish? Surprise. Look, I like you, John, but unfortunately you're up against an Irish fellow.
Irish? Irish, yeah. Oh, top of the morning to you, sir. And can go travel agency be doing anything for you this fine and lovely morning, sir? Top of the morning to you. I'd like to book a one-way ticket to Ireland. I'm moving there. Oh, Jesus be praised! Moving to Ireland. Can ye sing, Danny boy? Oh, Danny boy, the pipes are calling. Oh, congratulations! You've won yourself a one-way ticket to Ireland. Happiness! I'm moving to Ireland. Doctor, I think I may have hurt my foot. Mr. Sadler, Sadler, John. Sadler? Yes, then, Mr. Sadler. Quite an amazing case we have. This can't be happening. I'm moving to Ireland at 7:10 tonight. You won't be moving very far on that. Nurses? Come in here, please. Yes, doctor? Likely to have sepsis. May we look at your genitals? Can I show you my genitals? No! We're not talking to you. Now, please read this eye chart for me. Yes. There's your x-rays are back. You're Polish. You're Polish. Fine. You know what? I'm Polish, but you can't stop me because I already got my ticket. Hey, Uncle Roman. Ah, Jesus! That's from the bush. Just for a few days. Yeah, that's great, Jesus. You know, a long time ago I told you something that was wrong. I told you that people are different. But we are not. Yes, we're all exactly the same. Well, except for Lithuanians. Who are loud. And the Latvians, they're pretty girl. Except for the women. But other than that, we're all exactly the same. Oh, well, actually, Jews can be quite Uncle Roman. Now you tell me that people are exactly the same? I did? Yes! Yes, I did. First try. I'm getting better. Now, drink, Jesus. Can I get one without the egg? Without the egg? Why, the beer won't taste the same without the egg. The egg. Yes, the egg.
What does it stand for? Chicken. Consumer America. The egg stand for life.
Well, what does the beer stand for? What does beer stand for? Beer stand for ex-wife. Beer stand for many sad, long nights alone. The beer stand for beer. Now, drink, Jesus. And how is that sweet Polish beer? The beer is good. Very good. You know, the gong still rings, but not like it used to.